Welcome to the Authority File, the podcast where you'll hear conversations with academic librarians, technologists, researchers, and authors whose work is laying the foundation for higher education's future. I'm Bill Mickey, your host and the editorial director at Choice, and I'm excited to be speaking with Dr. Naila Khalida May. Dr. Khalida May is the principal investigator of the Black and Free Research Creation Project, a Dorothy Killam Fellow, the Tier 2 SSHRC Canada Research Chair in Race, Gender, and Performance, an accomplished multidisciplinary artist, and an associate professor at the University of Waterloo. She is also the author of Performing Female Blackness, a book just out from Wilfrid Laurier University Press that examines what private and public performances of female blackness reveal about race, gender, and nation. The title uses a fascinating and effective mashup of scholarship, poetry, performance, and lived experience to explore Black expressive culture in a variety of settings. I'm excited to share that during this interview, Dr. Khalida May employs some of the techniques she uses in her books by responding to some of my questions with song and poetry. So put your listening ears on and tune into this 4-part series, which is brought to you with support from Wilfrid Laurier University Press. In this third episode, we talk about how Dr. Khalida May uses a variety of stylistic formats, such as poetry, song, and play excerpts that accompany the more academic sections of the book. In other words, how a poem might further an idea or allow for a particular kind of analysis. We're also treated to a clip of her song Free from her album Firewoman. So let's talk a little bit about how the book is sort of put together and sort of constructed. You include academic sections as well as sections of poetry and prose. There are excerpts of a play you wrote, for example. What was your goal here?
Am I meant to treat her from whose womb I came with the same disdain that English has treated me? That's why I needed so many modes of engagement. And I wrote that poem so long ago, long before I actually encountered M. Norbesi Phillips' work about thinking about English, her work with Zong, trying to pull apart, not trying, but pulling apart English, stretching it, manipulating it on the page, making its own visual impact in that text, and teasing and working through legalese and imagining. So it was that poem for me that am I meant to treat her from whose womb I came with the same disdain that English has treated me? Enemy tongue. English is my enemy tongue. Was a way of being in relation to the language that I articulated a long time ago. It's like wanting to write and sing and only having the languages that you have to do it, and knowing that those languages are languages that have are centuries deep in annihilating you and attempting to annihilate you, and continue to be manipulated to do the same. It's discombobulating to want to be a writer with like English and French and Spanish. Those are the languages that I have access to. And then the Jamaican patois that I've learned. So yes, so the working in multiple modes is because I find that each genre as well for me allows me to work through different things. Like there are some things that I think like I have to work through this in a play because that structure permits or facilitates a particular kind of relationship, modality, efficiency that I appreciate. And then there are other things where I know that it's a song because the musicality and the melody, sometimes because of how it comes, but sometimes because of like how I want to think through something in chorus and refrain in melody, how I want to work through it. And then other things are poems because they can be like just short and kind of make you say the thing, and they can also be longer pieces if that is the case. But it allows for a kind of efficiency again of language. It's often what I'm thinking through and how I write,
Mm.
regardless of the mode that I'm working in. And then similarly, academic prose allows for a particular kind of engagement where you want to footnote and locate the theory and cite, to pull together and map out clearly all of the, or not, we can never do all, but at least gesture in a meaningful way to and acknowledge the many connections and where the work is contextualized and situated and what it seeks to be in conversation with. So
Right.
yeah, I'm intrigued by all of them and was excited to be working with and to have found, Wilfrid Laurier University Press, who said yes, and Shafan McMenemy, who said yes, we can, let's figure out how to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last time we talked, you said something to the effect of how you appreciated how each genre allows a particular kind of analysis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. So, kind of segueing from that, by using these different formats, I'm wondering what you were hoping for the reader in terms of how they relate to or interpret the text.
Yes, my hope for the reader is that they that it transports them to a place where they can feel or experience the the world or the questions that I'm asking in a different way,
Mm.
in a different register. So I think about how I can um like speak in that regard and talk about, I can talk about gender theory, or I can talk about gender studies and feminist studies, or I could also just say, respect my mind. I think things through. Respect my time. If not, we're through. Respect my body. I decide. Respect my wants. Respect my rights. When I fall again, I will rise again, and I'll rise again, and I'll rise again. I'm not your superwoman, I'm a firewoman, a demanding woman. Not your superwoman, I'm a firewoman. I know what I need. I know what I need. Oh, I need a world where all people are free. Trans, queer, non-binary, all free. Oh, I need a world where all can safely be. Yeah. Fire and wind and earth and rain. So yes.
Yeah, that says everything right there. Thank you. You just heard from Dr. Naila Khalida May. Dr. Kalita May is the principal investigator of the Black and Free Research Creation Project, a Dorothy Killam Fellow, the Tier 2 SSHRC Canada Research Chair in Race, Gender, and Performance, an accomplished multidisciplinary artist, and an associate professor at the University of Waterloo. She is the author of Performing Female Blackness, a book just out from Wilfrid Laurier University Press. This episode is brought to you with support from Wilfrid Laurier University Press. Join us next week for the final episode of this series, where we discuss the concept of translucency and we learn more about Dr. Kalita May's art and culture research project called Black and Free. As always, underwriting opportunities for the Authority File podcast are directed by Choice's advertising manager, Pam Marino, and all of our episodes are produced and edited by Choice's digital media producer, Sabrina Kofer, with support from digital media assistant, Ashley Roy. That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us.